Welcome back. I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 84 of producing for a year. Today, we are mixing. Finally, taking this track that we rendered out yesterday into a mix session. Can't really add more music very easily now with the way that this project file is rendered, and I'm excited to try and do this thing that I struggle with so much. My goal with this session is to try and get everything more evenly loud across the board. There's some really quiet sections in this piece, some really loud sections in this piece, and I want to make them objectively much closer to each other in volume level, while somehow still maintaining the feel of the quiet sections being quiet and the loud sections being loud. I don't want the quiet sections to be loud, but I want them to literally be much closer in volume to the loud sections so that you're not reaching for the volume knob when the loud sections suddenly jump out at you. I've been talking to some producers I knew, asking for advice and thoughts about loudness, and one of the tips they gave was that you really can get away with increasing the volume of your track at the master bus level if your tracks are nice and quiet, nice and well-rounded with lots of headroom coming into the master. They also gave me a tip that when looking at the LUFS on a multimeter, for my style of music, a nice, safe, easy target is to try and get them around -8 to -5 LUFS. So, with that being said, my goal for this track is to try and get the track's relative volume to itself at about -14 coming into the master, and then use saturation and limiters to pull the track up to that kind of -8 spot that was recommended. Okay, I don't know what to do about the limiter. It obviously adds a nice gain increase in all of the spots that aren't the loudest part of the piece, but the loudest part of the piece is just still, it feels like so much louder than the rest of the piece, and I want it to be louder. I want it to feel louder. So how do I make it the same volume as the rest of the piece while feeling louder than the rest of the piece? We're still figuring that one out. But to go through what we did in this mix, the first thing we did was really boost everything in the front so that the front section is much higher volume in general, and I think it's pretty close matched to the section that comes after it. It's a little bit quieter, but I'm okay with it being a little bit quieter, so there's a little bit of like a literal volume energy bump going into the beat drop. We also boosted everything in the Game Boy section, which isn't really reflected in the envelopes, but it's reflected in this +4 gain I put on everything, and then I pulled it back down 1.1, so it was a 2.9 gain increase netted across these two areas of the gain staging. The LUFs still say it's quieter than both sections that come across, like notably quieter, like again, I'm trying to get everything to kind of like 14, and they're coming in at like 16, -16, but it feels almost louder to my ear right now, so I'm gonna leave it as is there. And then we, on the final climactic swell, had all of our stabs slowly fade out as our sweeps slowly come in, and all of these I turned down 1.1 decibels. And that definitely helped rein things in, but if I feel like if I turn down those sweeps anymore, that will rob us of a lot of the energy that they are bringing in. There's really supposed to be this like kind of overwhelming sound, and they are the thing that is driving the volume up. So, and then we gave like a +2 decibel increase to everything in the post section here that was so much quieter than the rest. So I'm gonna bounce this and then I'm gonna look at it in comparison to our previous render. All right, so I have these labeled by date here, for through April 3rd and April 11th, which is today. Just right off the bat, you can see that A, we have an audio tail at the end, which is nice. It actually rendered the audio tail. But B, just look how much louder this is. Just on average, the average loudness is much, much better. I'm curious if these sections feel different at all, if I... The 4.3, I had the choirs in there, so that makes a difference, but otherwise it sounds remarkably similar. The front area here. That is easily the biggest difference, and also the biggest improvement of this mix. I'm gonna go listen to this mix in my car and see what I think about it. My main goal with this track is to have it be dynamically consistent. I don't like that this section is still so much louder than the rest, and I want to keep working on that, so I think that we will do another mix of this. But anyways, we're learning, we're growing. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.